What's up, people? You're watching a clip from the WRESTHINGS podcast. Make sure you follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. By the Mandem, for the Mandem.
So, what do you got from the debut? Was it good?
Yeah. Nice. It was nice. It's good. It's big business for AEW, you know?
Yeah. I'm intrigued to kind of see what happens moving forward because at the end of the day, like we know, she's been signed for a couple of months. We've been making this big song and dance about her coming. She even got the kind of CM Punk treatment of like, yeah, we're going to have a special event, name it after you. And, you know, people had been teasing, yeah. She came out similar to how CM Punk did when he came back for Collision. Or when he came back to AEW, sorry. When he came to Rampage, when he came back. She looks good. She looks like she fits in AEW. She looks very, very happy to be there. I think, I don't want to make it a negative, but I'm just kind of like, okay, cool. With her being there, you know, we've now seen a women main event Dynamite, which isn't something that hasn't happened before. We've seen women that
even
main event.
Onto that same week, women in main event, Dynamite main event, and SmackDown main event of Raw. So it's like a whole, ripple effect on the whole scene.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of intrigued to kind of say, okay, cool. She is now in AEW. She seems to be the talk. She seems to be talk of the town. Moving forward, this just has to be a consistent thing of, okay, cool. Are women going to continuously be getting a push under her influence?
Yeah.
Because if it's just her just coming into the company and we're not really seeing anything of note, then, yeah, we're fucked. Like, we've been bamboozled.
I think my question is, how impactful is she going to be on the women's division and how good is the women's division? Because the reason why I say that is, at the end of the day, I've not really heard anything.
I mean, it's
absolutely spectacular from the women's division. Quote me if I'm wrong.
It's a wait and see thing.
If you tell me something different,
AEW got good women's wrestling.
It's looking
They've
good.
got great women's wrestling.
It's looking good.
It's just the booking and the way
the booking is terrible.
and the stories that we've been given. By the grace of God, with Mercedes Mone coming in, that changes everything.
Yeah,
that changes the way they've seen stuff. Because obviously they've hired Mercedes Mone's Mercedes Mone's best friend, and she's a writer. She's a writer for WWE.
Yeah.
So now that she's coming, I'm sure we'll be getting the great stories that we need.
well, I can't wait for Soraya and
Mercedes.
That could happen.
Yeah, they're in the face.
No, that will happen.
Not in the face. Yeah.
So,
I don't really care for that because there's way better wrestlers than Soraya, so I don't really give a shit. But I think it's important.
Historical context.
But I think it's important for that match to happen because one of the issues that AEW is having with the women's division is that there's no clear-cut stories outside of the women's titles. That's one of the major drawbacks of the AEW women's division because the talent is there. It's not like the women wrestler are cack and we're just being fed what we're being fed. No, the women are incredible. We've got an amazing roster. The likes of the Jamie Hayters, the Tony Storms, the Dianas, Thunder Roses, Britt Baker, Serena Deeb. Bro, there's plenty of women there, but unless women are actually fighting for the world title, outside of that, nothing really matters.
But do you think that's a AEW problem or women's wrestling problem?
It's an AEW problem because WWE are not having that problem.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's been an AEW problem since day one. Like there's never been any like clear cut understanding of where this division is going. I think I use this word all the time, but it fluctuates and there's peaks and troughs when it comes to women's division. It's like, okay, cool, we're always going to get good wrestling when we can, but then some of the matches that we're getting from, it's like we're having barn burners on AEW Dark with women, and it's like, why is this match in this story being told on the AEW Dark? I get you don't have enough TV time for everyone, but then you're putting, like, there's certain squash matches that we've probably seen on a Dynamite that we don't actually need, where we could potentially get a women, like, what was the women's match that we got where the women were bleeding? It was that
Bunny versus no wait, you talking about Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa or the Bunny?
No, that match was already on that match main event.
You talking about Bunny and
Bunny
and what's her name and
Anna Jay,
Anna Jay versus
Penelope, and all of them. Bro, even was it Kira Hogan and no, it wasn't Kira Hogan.
Big Swole versus Diamante.
Was there colour in that match?
Wait, was it blood? Wait, what match
Were they bleeding?
There was a match where women were bleeding.
Yeah,
they were bleeding within the first. Yeah,
Bunny.
Yeah, like there's plenty of terrific women. It's just that the stories outside of the women's title, there's nothing of note. And if there is something of note, it's not being told on Dynamite or a Rampage or a Collision. It was being told on AEW Dark or Dark Elevation, which I think is horrible. Like it's terribly wrong. And with Soraya coming into AEW, a lot of people thought, okay, cool. This is someone that's a star in the previous company. She's gonna be able to move the needle and make women's wrestling matter. Really and truly, nothing happened.
Nothing changed.
If anything, it became a bit worse. If I'm being honest, it became
I feel like the whole all-in situation where they basically just passed her the title. That was a bit weird as well, because I just feel like there was no really like any like groundwork built for that.
There was no foundation.
It was a moment. It was just a vignette.
And it kind of left a stain on her a bit. Because I feel like if she didn't get that, all would have been fine. Obviously, she went out there, she won the title. The week after that, we were expecting madness from her, because that's what we expect from AEW, and we didn't really get that. So,
do you know why that story left a stain? Because we'll get in the AEW originals versus the Outcast. It was going nowhere. Then they ended up putting a world title on Tony Storm, and then Tony Storm ended up losing. Then they've now put the belt on Saraya, and it's like, no, this story could have been told without any inclusion of the world title.
100.
Everybody thought that, this story with the Outcast and AEW Originals was going to go into like a blood and guts and something, or Anarchy in the Arena. Nothing came from it. So it just seems like, okay, you wanna tell these stories with the women, but you don't want to tell it to the fullest capacity. Because really and truly, the men, like, of course, we enjoyed the men's stuff, but bro, I want us to be able to talk about the women, like the way that we revere Athena. Athena's run the past year has been fucking phenomenal. But the same way that we talk about Athena's run, I want to be able to talk about many women on AEW. And Athena's doesn't even wrestle on AEW. She wrestles on Ring of Honor. That's nuts. That's very. So for Athena to be considered one of the best in the company, she doesn't even wrestle on the main show. It's crazy. It just goes to show that, okay, cool. Things need to be done here.
I have a question for you guys. Do you feel like now that Mercedes is here, the standard and expectations for the women's division are gonna have to increase?
They absolutely have
to. They can't mess around anymore. They actually have to prioritize this division and prioritize storylines, because you've brought in Mercedes Mone, big money. You can't disappoint her now, because if she now gets upset, the competitors are gonna.
I don't want to be that guy. You'll get another CM Punk situation.
Mercedes will leave. We've seen it time and time again. When Mercedes is not satisfied with something, she will pack her bag and she will go, because she knows her worth.
Do you know what it is? It reminds me of Austin back in the day. They wanted him to job to someone, and he left. And they patterned up,
The Rock flamed him the next
But I feel like with the way Tony Khan has been doing, as we're moving the last couple of weeks with the acquisition of Jonah Peraza, bringing back Serena Deeb, I feel like he wants to make his wrongs right.
I hope so. But
with Mercedes Mone coming, she's on a contract where she can also. I think big up to the guy NK and Earl on Commissioner's Corner. I think they mentioned that Mercedes Mone's contract is similar contract to what Hulk Hogan had in WCW, where she can also have a same creative as well as what he had as well.
Did not learn from.
That's a good bargain.
But it's good though. I think with someone like Mercedes Mone, I don't think she's gonna do anything mad. Unless if it doesn't work out. On that sort of vibe. If there's like arguments in the camp, whatever, which I doubt would happen ever again. They're gonna probably learn from their lesson here. Let's cut them some slack. here.
Let's see what Mone does.
I want to, but it's a given. Like, I don't want to say it's going to happen, but people disagree all the time. And when you put something like that in someone's contract, I can't lie. This
is a legend, by the way. Guys, I'm not. Don't take this
if this is actually true, just leave the writing to the writing, and you just stick to the wrestling. As simple as that. Don't complicate the two, because then
I don't think they said on community. I think they said on the Discord. Or whatever they said.
Hogan type deal. But then I'll be real, with the way the women's division is in AEW, she deserves it. She needs it, because really and truly, I feel like the way I look at Mercedes is someone she looks like someone that's not necessarily coming in for the betterment of herself, because she could go anywhere in the world. I think for her, she sees an opportunity to be able to cement her legacy. She's done enough. She's done as much as she can in WWE. I think there's more for her to do in WWE, but for you to now go to a new company and start new grounds. This is a place where you can now start from fresh, and nobody, like, you can rebuild your legacy from here and continue to be one of the best in the world. So I feel like she's not the type of person where she will go into a place where it's just self-serving.
Nah, myth.
I feel like she's definitely like, even if she does have creative control, I think it's for the betterment of the division as opposed to,
No, I hear it.
you know what, I'm just here for the sake of I want to win, I want to do this, I want to do that. I don't look at Mercedes like that. She's never seemed like
You need
that.
to understand that's one of the reasons why she left WWE, because of they were messing around with the women's tag team division.
Like, she was open to losing the tag belts.
But
What's up, people? You're watching a clip from the WRESTHINGS podcast. Make sure you follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. By the Mandem, for the Mandem.